Welcome to Heartglow CEO, where high achievers evolve into purpose-driven powerhouses. I'm Casey Rossi, your integrative leadership coach. Join us to break free from people-pleasing and burnout, exploring mindset, embodiment, and soul alignment. Discover expert insights, success stories, and actionable tips for holistic wealth on your terms. This is where transformation meets the modern female leader. Let's go. Today we're talking about something I know many of you are experiencing right now, that overwhelming feeling of spinning in circles, chasing every new strategy, and losing sight of your true mission. You know that feeling, right? Your inbox is overflowing with must-try marketing techniques. Your social media feed is packed with ads promising the next big breakthrough. And your heart is yearning for simplicity and alignment. Let's talk about the real cost of overwhelm. I was speaking with a client, let's call her June, who pushes and crams her calendar with as many one-on-one clients, trying to master 3 social media platforms and launching a course all at the same time. She's exhausted, disconnected, and worst of all, her impact is actually shrinking because her energy is so scattered. Her spark for her helping profession is pretty extinguished, and she has a mountain of debt that's pressuring her to keep grinding it out. Ugh. This is what happens when we let the noise of the world drown out our inner wisdom. Every time we say yes to another strategy, we're often saying no to our deeper purpose. The truth is, success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters with complete presence and intention. And I know that this may seem counterintuitive, especially for my high performers that just think there's one more thing that I need to do. I should do this, or that comparison situation that comes up from scrolling on social where it's like, okay, wow, this person I admire and they're doing X, Y, and Z. Maybe I should plug in to X, Y, and Z too. Maybe I should be a speaker on a summit, or maybe I should go on a bunch of podcast interviews, or whatever the thing is, whatever and whoever you're looking at. And then you're like, oh, am I coming up short because I'm not doing that? These are the things that we want to challenge before we jump in, before we click the enroll or the buy now, which is so easy to do, and I get it. So today I'm sharing 3 powerful tips to help you regain this alignment and focus. These aren't just strategies, they're invitations to come back home to yourself. So first, let's start with why. And we're going to keep these so simple. Close your eyes for a moment if you're in a safe place to do so. Think back to the very beginning of your entrepreneurial journey. What was that spark that lit you up? What impact did you dream of making in the world? Don't rush this process. It most likely will take a little moment to bubble up, especially if you are on the verge of burnout. This ask may take some sincere effort and also some self-grace. Once you've captured it, this is your compass, your true north. The decisions you make would be best if they aligned with this core purpose. And I know sometimes when we're involved in a lot of things, I can't even believe the amount of content that I even cram in my brain. So if you're like me, I think you're nodding your head on this. And what I want to say is to really slow down and embody these invitations, because if you just listen to it without doing it, or if there's some resistance to like, oh, I don't want to do that. I just need to keep pushing through my to-do list. You're not going to feel different or change that habit nature or give your system a minute to catch up with yourself. So don't just let this be another thing that you're listening to and then you're basically going and doing a bunch of other things or even multitasking. So if possible, when you're trying to connect back to that very beginning spark and leaving some space And again, you may have to go deep into the microfiche of your mindset to even remember, because we can feel like we have just gotten on a freight train and it's just kept on going and we're really not even that sure of the destination. It's very common. And if that's you and you're feeling like that, just take a breath and know that you can literally pull that little string down on the side, like, when you're on a bus or something where it's like, this is my stop, I want to get off. It's literally like giving yourself permission to do that. You click the dinger or you pull that little string and you're like, I need to get off this train. I need to get off this train. I need to get back on solid ground. I need to take a pause and then regroup. Even find what that true north is. I need to turn within instead of externally always having my GPS on where some other force is telling me where to go and when to turn. So a lot of this is just coming back inside and trusting yourself. But in order to do that, you need to take a little break. You need to pause and have space and silence that's not influenced by external inputs, by external feeds, by beeps and buzzers. And I know that that's a big ask, but this is how you are going to just pause this rapidly moving life to just take a freeze frame. And then if you need to redraft, you actually can. If you need to get on a new train, you can. If you need to take a vacation and not get on a train at all right now, you can. So that's really a part of this tip 1. The second tip is really identifying your top 3, not 10 goals, not 5 goals, and actually 3 may be too much. But let's just start with 3 key priorities that align with your mission. If 3 feels like I can't even come up with 1, then bring it down to 1. And here's the thing, I can't tell you that I've mastered this. You've heard me say multiple times that we teach what we most need to learn. And I struggle with not trying to be everywhere. And I know the value of focusing on deep, meaningful connections in fewer places. And it's still challenging to not want to throw that reel up on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Pinterest, on Facebook. It can literally be exhausting. So I want you to just double down on what feels good and trashing FOMO, that fear of missing out, of trying to be here, there, and everywhere. All right, so we may need to hold each other accountable for this, okay? Because I haven't mastered it either. So it is something I'm very aware of and something that I'm putting into practice of really, again, thinking about where is the return? What feels good when I'm doing it? What feels like a should? And those shoulds really have to be addressed. What's behind the should? Am I trying to keep up? Or what is it, right? And you're going to have to look at that for yourself too. Give yourself a little moment to be uber honest with what is driving your actions, even if they're not bringing an ROI, a return on investment, right? Even if they're not bringing an ROI, something inside of you is like, I must do that, and I must do this, and I must do that. This is when we really get still and we're like, wait a second, whose life am I living? What am I really afraid of missing out on? Because nothing's really feeling super happy right here in the moment. And if that's you, this is time to redraft. I always talk about architecting holistic wealth, and that is really looking at 6 pieces of a pie. So if you're just going to look at a circle and look at 6 pieces of a pie, the top half of that half circle has 3 pieces, the bottom half has 3, and we're looking at physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, connective, which are those relationships that you have, and collective, which is the vibration that you have, the positive ripple effect, the give back and impact. And when we're looking at holistic wealth, this is something where we get to decide what success looks like for us. For someone else, it may be speaking on stages, it may be writing that bestseller, it may be networking 24/7 and going on handfuls of coffee chats. If that's not you, and in fact, interestingly enough, I chatted with a new associate that I met at a networking event recently, and she was an introvert, and she was really feeling completely overwhelmed. And she's like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm trying to grow my business, so I'm coming to all these in-person networking events. You could tell she was so scattered. And, we've all been there for sure, because we're listening to experts say, in order to grow, you need to X, Y, Z. But here's what I want to say. In order for you to have any chance at holistic wealth, at balancing, so you feel like a grounded human and not like a robot that is just bouncing from one thing to the next in this doing hamster circle, we have to step back and say, what works for me? What works for my personality, whether I'm an introvert or an extrovert or an ambivert? What do I like doing? Like if you're sitting there biting your nails and fidgeting and bouncing your leg up and down because you're so scared that they're going to come and ask you for your elevator pitch, is that the right room for you? And I want to challenge that, because you can learn it. So, for me, I had to kind of learn things like extroverting activities, like even networking events. I had to develop that skill. So I'm not saying like if this is new for you and that's you in the corner going, God, I hope somebody comes and talks with me, or hope somebody wants my business card at this event. I'm not saying SK that because you're just never going to make it. I'm absolutely not saying that, because I believe you have everything inside of you to accomplish what you want. And if it feels important to your deep why to have more in-person, hugs and handshakes versus Zoom meetings, then by all means, the next thing then is in front of you is, how do I be a charismatic leader in these in-person spaces? So what I'm saying is, know yourself, but also challenge yourself if it's something you want to do. If it's something you hate, then full permission to find another way, because there are unlimited algorithms that you can plug into that will work for you, that do feel good, that make you feel like you're in alignment. But if it's something where you're playing small and holding back and thinking you can't, that's going to be an invitation for you to try, for you to develop confidence as a skill set, not as a magical gift reserved for a couple few. Okay, so I hope I'm making that distinction here. I know I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but I think it's important when you're thinking about your goals and what you want to lean into and what you want to give yourself permission to delete. The third thing is embracing simplicity. And I'm really thinking simplicity in the marketing realm, but simplicity can happen anywhere. It could be that you want to simplify your inbox and start unsubscribing from things that you have saved and never read, or that you keep scrolling over that person's name thinking someday you're going to read all her amazing things, but you haven't. And now that we're in 2025, you can really see if you've got crap from last year or the year before, it's a pretty good indication that you can delete that. I wouldn't even archive it personally, because I'm more into essentialism. And if you haven't touched things in over a year, at this point, especially in the sales, marketing, and business space, things are changing really rapidly. And so they may not even be relevant. And if it was meant for you, you would have prioritized and taken the time to bring in that information. So the third really is embracing simplicity. Choose one marketing method that feels authentic to you and master it. One marketing method. Maybe it's podcast guesting. Maybe you really enjoy connecting and sharing your message, or feel like you can react really well when you're asked questions, but if you're left to your own device, it's like you're looking at a blank piece of paper or the cursor flashing on the Google Doc going, I don't even know. So if you are somebody that is more able to react and like really come alive when someone stimulates you with great questions, then podcast guesting may be really, really awesome for you and your business. Or maybe it's LinkedIn thought leadership. Maybe you're more pensive and you need time and you don't like to be put on the spot. But you could do a LinkedIn newsletter, or a lot of times they will have LinkedIn questions that they pose to experts that you can share your thoughts on. But you've given yourself the grace to take a beat, brew a cup of tea, and collect your thoughts before you're on the spot or in the front of the room. Or maybe it's an intimate workshop where you really like to go a little bit deeper, but you love and appreciate the collective wisdom of having other souls in the room and catching the vibe and resonating on the same wavelength. So these are the type of things that would be so helpful before you move past Q1, right? We're almost through January right now. We still have a very good chunk of the first quarter of this year before you move forward in just this repetitive, maybe even unconscious way of doing your schedule and routine. These 3 tips are really going to help you make sure that you are doing it in a way that lights up your heart, that doesn't feel like you're slogging through, that doesn't feel like you're living someone else's life. This is your story, my friend. You are the author of your life. You get to pick that pen up, you get to rewrite, you get to delete drafts that don't work any longer. It's kind of exciting. So first start with your why, come right back to why am I even doing this? If the story is outdated, come up with a new why. That's the exciting piece. Come up with a new why, and that may include a pivot, and that's okay too. Number 2 is really identifying what is most important to you. Not 1,000 goals, not 10. 1, 2, or 3. What's really important to you? And then master it. And then the third is really embracing simplicity. This can be an overlaid template and really everything that you do. I love to play around with patterns. So for me, it's like, how can I simplify my eating? How can I simplify my intake? How can I even simplify my emails to people? Do I have to have so many words, or can I still be warm and loving and get to the point a little bit faster? And I think especially in this time where people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter, it's also a surefire way that people are going to absorb what you're trying to say, or read your ask in the email, or listen to a podcast that's 10 minutes instead of an hour and a half. So pay attention to the outside in the way that what's resonating with people, what feels like it's sticking or landing or having some traction, and then see how it works with you and your personal system and setup. Whatever resonates with your soul, do that one thing exceptionally well. One of my favorite authors is Cal Newport, and he has a book that's a good resource here. It is so good they can't ignore you. Why skills trump passion in the quest for work that you love. So if you want to go deeper, that's a great book to check out. But I think really, honestly, if you did a little meditation just on the title, you're probably going to get what you need, which is commit to being so good they can't ignore you. And I have a feeling that that's going to really pull up a lot of inner wisdom for you. So let's just take a pause together and reconnect to that inner wisdom. I invite you to place your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath in through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts at the top. And release for 4 counts. So again, that was taking a deep breath in through your nose for 4 counts. Holding at the top for 4. And releasing for 4. Feel the rhythm of your heartbeat beneath your hand. With each breath, imagine clarity flowing into your being. Feel the scattered energy settling like particles in a snow globe, coming to rest. And I invite you to take 3 more breaths at your own pace, allowing your intuition to speak to you about where you need to focus right now. Remember, Marie Forleo says clarity comes from action, not thought. So your invitation today is simple but powerful. Identify one area where you've been scattered and take one aligned action to simplify. Maybe it is unsubscribing from those marketing emails that don't serve you. Or maybe it is giving yourself permission to focus on just one social media platform. In fact, I've got 2 close friends that just this week shared with me, if you want to get a hold of me, text me, because I'm going off of all social media. I'm not sure for how long, but I'm not going on it anymore. What a bold move, and I'm so curious as to what goodness is going to spring forth for them from the inside. My hunch is that locked up creative energy is going to be unleashed, and it's pretty fun to find out. If you're ready to go deeper and explore more when it comes to your intuition, breath, alignment, really having this coherence between your energy centers, your heart, your mind, your solar plexus, all the things, I invite you to explore my Aligned Heart program. I use heart math techniques to help you maintain clarity while scaling your impact, and I'll put some information in the show notes. Okay, beautiful soul, I'd love to hear your breakthrough moment, so don't hesitate to let me know. Until next time, remember your greatest power lies not in doing everything, but in doing what matters with an open heart and clear intention. To your success inside and out, until next time, breathe joy.